Yeah.
Copy that.
I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not libertarian. I'm a human being that wants the best for the rest of the human beings, and I want some common sense, and I want to be left alone. I want to pay low taxes. I want to be able to go build things and prosper and get all the things that have been promised to me in the Constitution of this country. That's what I want. And until people wake the up and stop identifying with left or right, Republican, Democrat, black, white, gay, straight, all the shit, until we figure that out and stop doing that, we will continue to be abused by these people who hold the power.
What is up, YouTube? This is the Clip Farm. We have myself, Mike, Matt, Juno, and the chef.
Hello.
I believe one of us has an echo, so we'll try to resolve that.
I'd say
that was
multiple devices, things go sideways.
So we're trying to get back into this. We're going to start doing a weekly news wrap up. So we were kind of prepping for that, and we came across this Benny Johnson story that we'd like to play and react to. So we'll play that and talk about that, but be looking forward to us all getting together once a week and doing a weekly news wrap up with the Clip Farm. Oh, add it to this. Is there? Oh, before we get going, does anybody else have anything they want to say?
No.
1 second.
Can't think of anything off the top of my head at the moment. No.
Nope. We good. I got it posted over on my channel as well. I'll send everybody over if anybody shows. Appreciate y'all letting me come and join you. It's gonna be a good one.
Well, you're part of the Clip Farm, so you just have to be here. We're just missing Josh, but he sleeps at night now, so
What?
Nope.
yeah. He sleeps.
Leaving the night owl crew.
Yeah, Josh sleeps at night now, so it'll just be us four if we're doing something late.
Yeah,
So, all
this
right.
was kind of on the what do we call this, spontaneous here. You know,
Seat of the pants.
Yeah, and anybody that's not following Benny Johnson, he does a couple different reports every day. He's a very, very funny individual. Normally, this particular one, he's not real. I mean, he has his own comedy in this, but this is kind of a serious story that was breaking, I suspect, from old Uncle Dan Bongino at the FBI.
Mhm. Uncle
Cash
Dan.
Patel. Uncle Dan up at the FBI. So, without further ado, let's hit it.
I'm gonna drop Benny's link in the chat there for anybody that hasn't subscribed. There it is. Go give him a check out. All right, here we go. Let's see. Trump assassin worked with Ukraine to get rocket launcher to shoot down Trump's plane. Oh.
President Trump, if he loses, they'll like kill him again. They'll all the lawfare comes right back. They'll put him in prison. They'll have like 20 new things to put him in prison for, and that President Trump will like die in jail. That was the goal. That was the goal last time. And so they're gonna restart that machine. They have the keys. The engine's warm. They just turn the thing on. They're ready to go with this. Nobody has more to lose on this gambit than Trump, and he's already seen how permissive the superstate is to his death. That this is potentially what they want. And so, understand that like this is a man who's playing a game of very, very high stakes. And he doesn't want to lose. His loss isn't going to be a couple points in his retirement fund. His loss may potentially be his life. This is something that we've learned in an absolutely shocking bombshell drop from the DOJ. Let's jump on over to the actual document itself. I want to go through this thing because this is the Ryan Routh versus the United States of America and government's motion yesterday to admit potential evidence. So this is standard. But there was something very unique about this actual document. This document was actually brought directly to the judge. It's now been released. This wasn't even given to Ryan Routh's attorney. They wanted the judge to assess this document and to read through it and look through the government's evidence against Routh. And then
pause it real quick.
Look at.
So just to be clear, this is not the Butler, Pennsylvania incident. This is the Mar-a-Lago Golf Club incident.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we all, we just the way that the news portrayed it. I
It
don't
was
remember
just some
exactly.
crazy guy in a bush with
Yeah,
SKS.
Yeah, they were just
Had a
saying
hole in
some
a
crazy
fence.
guy in a bush waited for like 10 or 12 hours or whatever. Well,
Mhm.
this proves there's a shitload more going on than that.
Yep.
So, all right.
Saying a lot more than anybody has let on.
Yeah, this caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really deep rabbit hole.
Now, is this information that he's giving us right now? Is this something that just come out today, or is this something that's been out for a little while?
Came out on the 7th. It looks
Yeah,
like,
I was
or
gonna say,
the docket was released on the 7th. It says there, so we're talking 2 days. But for
it's
us
just now
recording
getting to
right
public consumption. Yeah.
Mhm.
for us, he dropped this about 5 hours ago, Benny Johnson. So I know he came out and did a report on it right away.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying well, I guess we covered that already. I was going to say that for those that don't know who Ralph is, or however you pronounce his name, he's one of the guys who tried to take a shot at Trump before the election.
Mhm.
in at Mar-a-Lago. So all right,
Yeah,
Jeff, hit it.
All right.
What they have, please, the full document. Okay, so look at the actual evidence itself and how this all happened. I want to start here on page 8. February 2024, Ralph's messaging contact with post-assassination escape. Do you know that Ryan Ralph was using the cartels? After he decided to kill Trump, he was going to use the cartels in order to escape the country. In February, Ralph began an extensive WhatsApp conversation with a person Ralph had saved in his phone as Ramiro, who lives in Mexico. Their exchanges in that month culminated in Ralph seeking Ramiro's help, potentially smuggling an Afghan migrant family into the United States from Mexico. With the two discussing operations illegality, the migrants' lack of status, and the potential to need to bribe officials before the exchange concluded with Ralph objecting to Ramiro's proposed price. This is going to be a treasure trove of understanding how the human smuggling operation worked. Why would you need to get an Afghan family into America exactly? How does Ryan Ralph understand all of these systems of criminal immigration and human smuggling? Well, because he was doing it in Ukraine. We know this. This is something that we knew previous to this bombshell filing by the government. We knew that Ryan Ralph was migrating people into Ukraine.
Migrating.
Why was he doing that? To fight the Ukraine war. How could he possibly get ISIS fighters into Ukraine? Here's his damn website. You know, it's like we're the only shows that like really like ever catalog these kind of things. We're looking at this stuff.
Open borders.
Hold up.
Wild.
Pause it.
Open borders. That's how he got on through.
Pay $1,200 US dollars per month to be able to go fight in Ukraine.
So they were. He said, if you paid attention, he said they were recruiting Afghan fighters to go fight in Ukraine.
Okay, so they were paying them $1,200. Okay,
So they were paying Afghan fighters to go fight in Ukraine for $1,200. That's who they were recruiting.
yeah, and to them $1,200 US dollar, $1,200 US dollars is
To be fighting against Russia?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
So this organization right here that Benny's showing, they
Mhm.
were offering $1,200 US dollars a month to go fight for Ukraine against
Russia. Yeah.
So and they were working on visas and everything to get them in, and he's gonna touch on it more. But the
Mhm.
key there was it was from Afghan to Ukraine.
Right.
Is what
And then he tried it Afghan from Mexico to America.
Yeah,
Is that what
yeah. Well,
Afghan
we'll let Benny
family.
we'll let Benny explain that portion. Oh,
Okay.
he will say something about that.
It says for all ages, genders, and skill level to none.
So
Said what?
1,200 US over there. That's quite a bit of money. All right, here we go.
His website's still up. So who's paying this hosting fee? I'm glad it is though, because he says, "Hey, yo, listen, I have the connections to get you no-look visas into Ukraine." What do we know about Ukraine based on new New York Times reporting? That Ukraine is just a total vassal state, fully operationalized via the CIA, our own CIA, has multiple headquarters, stations of operation in Ukraine, and they're literally running the war. Everything that's happening in this war is happening with permissibility from our own Central Intelligence Agency. This is well reported out.
Wow.
I'll pop the New York Times article up in a second.
Wow.
Okay, let's go grab that. Ryan Ralph understands human smuggling because, well, at the very least, we know that he did this in Ukraine. Ryan Ralph continually messaged that ISIS fighters from Iran, Afghanistan, that people from all around the world could come to Ukraine and could fight on behalf of Ukraine for a fee. And he would smuggle them in with no-look visas. What the hell is that going on there? Well, no-look visas, that means that he'd have to have some type of connection to the United States government in order to rubber stamp a visa to get into a war zone. Because you can't just do that. You can't just walk into a war zone. You can't go to Ukraine. I really encourage you not to try. You can't go to Ukraine right now. You can't go walk up to the front lines. I'm telling you, don't try. If you try, there's a real good chance that you're going to be like arrested as like either an enemy combatant, somebody who shouldn't be there, somebody who's there nefariously. But somehow Ryan Ralph was able to human smuggle, who knows, thousands of fighters into the front line. How would he be able to do that? Check this out. The Spy Wars, how the CIA secretly helped Ukraine fight Putin. This article goes in, if we don't have the time to read it right now, we have read it before on the show. This article goes into great detail as to how after the America-led coup in 2014, the CIA just seized control of all of Ukraine, and they've operationalized everything.
Whoa.
Getting access to the battlefield and access to fighters is a CIA operation. Ryan Ralph was a go-man.
Whoa. CIA
frogman.
operation.
That was allowed
Pause.
to recruit fighters and was told that this was his job and his.
So this has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah.
So this guy, this Looney Tune that they found in Mar-a-Lago, hide in the bushes, worked for the CIA. Now he may not have been directly at some fancy building, but he was out being paid for and recruiting and getting paid by the CIA.
Yeah, that $1,200 a month for those fighters was not coming out of his pockets. That's for damn sure.
That's
Wow.
wild.
And was using the
Wow.
WhatsApp to do all of this. Like,
Yeah,
Just
WhatsApp
crazy.
and what was the other one they mentioned? I forgot.
And that's an app that's not supposed to be.
It's supposed to have basic encryption, but
Yeah, it's supposed to have.
nothing special.
It's not Signal or some of these other ones.
No,
that's,
it's not like
you know,
Signal,
and
no.
encrypting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just wild though. So
Wow.
we'll hit some more talking points later. Keep playing it. But yeah, the key here is work for the CIA.
Yeah.
yeah.
For a long time.
That's
It's nuts.
So that he was well known.
emphasized.
He's not just some Joe Schmo in the bush with an AK.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't the schlep that we were led to believe. You know, oh, how did he get all this money? How did he get a weapon? How did he do
it's
all
not
these
some-
things? Gee, I wonder.
It's not some blue-haired freak that just all of a sudden, just had serious TDS.
Right.
Now this person
Just
did have
decided one day.
TDS, but this was a connected TDS person. So
Mhm. Very well connected.
Oh,
All right, here we go.
If you want to go really far down the rabbit hole, you'll find that his CIA handlers were the first people to follow him on X. Now his account's been deleted, but there are still screenshots of some very mysterious CIA agents, people that have CIA in their LinkedIn bio, that now they work for NGOs, right? But they were CIA operatives that were some of
NGOs.
Ryan Ralph's first follows. These people didn't have big accounts. They aren't like big names. And they followed him back. So you make the connections here. But this is how Ryan Ralph learned about human smuggling. And there's something very scary that's it's a thread that we're going to pull here, but it's going to really kind of shock you. And it certainly shocked us when we were reading this. Ryan Ralph isn't dumb.
No.
Please stop
No.
please stop saying this guy's dumb. Let's go back to the filing, please. This guy really understood how to human smuggle, how to get these operations done. He was working at a high level to do it. He was working clearly with our own State Department to get no-look visas, rubber stamp visas, to get fighters to the front lines of a war zone. He had the connections to get it done. Stop saying, and I will certainly as well, but stop saying that he's a cuckoo pants guy. He's not. This guy was an operator. This guy's terrifying. in his capacity. He was regularly in Ukraine. He was regularly photographed on the front lines himself in full military gear, tactical gear. And it looks like he was now working with the Ukrainian military to get some of that tactical gear sent back home so he could kill Trump with it. Let's continue to read. Ryan Routh is not dumb. This is my major takeaway. Ryan Routh's not dumb. Ryan Routh's incredibly connected and was operating at a very sophisticated and high level to kill Trump with the help of whom?
Yeah.
So he's trying to human smuggle Afghanis into America through the southern border. He's working directly with the cartel to smuggle these people in. This is the result of Joe Biden's open borders. Did Joe Biden want this to happen? Did he want some Afghan migrants? Did he want Afghan militants to go kill Trump? Were they supposed to be there to help Routh? Were they creating a kill box for Donald Trump? Yes, they were. The answer is yes, of course they were. There were supposed to be probably seven different people. I
disagree with him there.
I
don't believe that. I don't believe that Joe Biden or Biden's family wanted that. Do I think that there was some deep state government people that wanted it? Absolutely, but I don't think. I don't think Biden did. Biden just wanted a fresh diaper and to
right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's be fair.
All I
wanted was ice cream and a clean diaper,
and a nap on the beach.
And a nap on the beach. There we go.
I severely dislike Biden, but I'm not going to put that on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if he did know about it, he'd forgotten about it.
Technically, it fell under his watch, but
it did.
He wasn't directly organizing this. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, well, right. I'd say with the auto pin scandal, I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of Biden stuff get. Rolled.
Stay tuned for more reports from the Clip Farm on that.
Yeah,
they'll be here.
That's the whole new rabbit hole.
Oh, that's a new.
All right. Here we go.
All around the peripheral of the golf course that day. Give me the map of the golf course, please, with the schematic with Ralph. There's supposed to be like you're supposed to create a kill box. This is what was supposed to happen in Butler. They created a kill box for Trump, where Trump can't escape. Trump's sitting there, somebody up on a high elevation. They were able to create a kill box for Trump. This is what they were going to do. Ralph was going to bring in Afghan fighters who worked with him in Ukraine. These are terrorists. They were going to smuggle them through the southern border. It's incredible. This filing is bone chilling. And then they were going to kill Trump.
Pause it real quick. I'm going to make that full screen so we can see.
Yep. This is a map of the golf course. And
what
it
he's talking
shows
about.
Where the sniper was at and where Trump was at when they spotted him.
Okay.
And the route from the hole number 5 to 6 into 7.
Yeah, I'm not a sniper or military trained in any imagination.
Me either.
But this doesn't look like a kill box to me. This looks like multiple opportunity shots.
Yeah.
From pretty much one position.
Yep.
And it's something that the average Joe can hit every single one of those targets.
Oh yeah, 700 foot is the longest one marked there. I can hit that all day long with, well, not a pistol, but don't care what rifle.
Oh my God, this Ralph guy was a bad shot, right?
But for what he's saying a kill box. That's just one vantage point. So it's schematics and what he's saying, and maybe this isn't the only map that he's seeing.
Yeah, true.
This is just the one he's presenting. So it's hard to say exactly, but
they're giving the position that they knew where the guy was.
Right.
Those would have been the 3 easiest attempts.
Yeah, that he would have had from that layout. Now, to me, in my mind, if there's a kill box, okay, there's going to probably be a guy on at least 2 of the other walls, or
at least one, on each wall. Mm-hmm.
I say that way they got opportunity from all angles.
But I think pretty much everybody on this panel could make all 3 of those shots that they're showing there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
you can't make a 700-foot shot.
Hang your rifle back above the mantle.
Yeah. Just take it to the pawn shop. You're good.
Yeah. All right, send it.
So here's where Ralph was. You can see him right there. That's where he was positioned. He was going to kill Trump right there. 150-yard shot. Man, that's nothing. 150-foot shot. Correction. He could have killed Trump, though, at any of those locations. That's 700 feet. That's 400 feet, 150 feet. Longest successful sniper round was over 3,000 feet. Do you understand? These are easy shots for anybody who's trained.
These are easy shots
Ryan
for your
Ralph
average hunter.
Wanted to work with the cartels to escape after he'd killed Trump. This was the goal. The goal was to get out after murdering Trump and use the cartels to smuggle himself out of the country. Ralph intentionally sought a professional smuggler who specialized in clandestine migrant crossings, including bribery of officials. They have all this chats. Really, truly remarkable. Do you know they had an ID on them? Components of destructive device, ammunition box that Ralph delivered. Third, this court should admit evidence of an improvised destructive device components and a 50 caliber ammunition. IED. Where have I heard that before? Hold on. Wait a second. This is interesting. You know, I've never actually heard that Ryan Ralph had a bunch of IEDs. Where did I hear that before? Oh, shit. You know, I remember this guy named Matthew Thomas Crooks that also had a bunch of like improvised explosive devices, even though he's like some zit-faced, gangly goof troop who looks like he like doesn't have the strength to unload the dishwasher. Somehow this guy was able to create 3 IEDs that were operable, that were in his vehicle. The goal in Butler was to detonate the IEDs to distract everybody away from, the stage, and then he gets Trump. That was the goal. Now, to our knowledge, none of those devices detonated correctly, but that was the goal. Create a diversion, kill Trump. And now we find out that Ryan Ralph followed the exact same path. Wow, the chances. Really something here. Let's go ahead and read here.
Crazy.
Yes, pause just a moment.
Well, he was getting fired up.
Now, add to this the fact that CNN had been refusing to cover anything Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But they covered the Butler rally.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The one time.
Exactly, that one.
Yeah.
Well, we know that this guy from the deal was working with the CIA, but what we do find out is he had similar tactics as the guy from Butler.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And man, my brain just went away. He was being paid, and he was trying to do the same tactics essentially as the Butler, Pennsylvania guy did, and where there is a connection between both of them, both the Butler, Pennsylvania, and this guy were featured in a Dark Rocks commercial.
Oh,
Yes.
I knew the kid was. I didn't know that he was also.
Yeah, this guy. I think Benny will bring it up, but they were both in some dark colored rock commercials.
Damn.
I'm saying if you don't know what that is,
we've learned in the past that you can't say
certain things,
right?
Certain
words.
Certain words. But if you look up a dark rock, you'll kind of know what we're talking about. All right, hit it.
50 caliber ammunition recovered from the box containing Ralph's Dear World letter and his burner phones. Do you know what the Dear World letter is from Ralph? Him saying that he will gladly offer $150,000 for anyone who can kill Trump. He knew he might not be successful, so he left that letter with the knowledge that it would immediately be blasted out there to the media, which is one of the first things that happened. The first thing we learned about Ryan Ralph was that he had a bunch of money, and anybody who wanted to kill Trump can get really rich doing it. That was the first thing they blasted out. It's almost like it was all planned in case he didn't, in case he wasn't successful. All of his burner phones, his letters, all of which proves Ralph's intent to kill and possess a firearm as a convicted felon. On top of the recovery of the box, the United States will be presenting expert testimony in the box's destructive device components, including a barrel, breech, spring-loaded firing mechanism. Large caliber ammunition was designed to construct a device that would fire the ammunition with deadly effect. Coupled with the evidence, the United States will present a manually titled Improvised Explosives, How to Make Your Own, which was recovered from a nearby storage trailer on Ralph's place of business, as well as shotgun shells, a Ruger pistol from the trailer. This court should admit that this evidence is intrinsic of Ralph's intent to assassinate President Trump on two respects. First, possessing the materials and ammunition that would be constructed to breach the barrel and a lethal device, coupled with the instruction manual for demonstrating his intent in a homemade weapons accessory and anti-ballistics armor, minimum proof of his comfort with causing death to other human beings, and there is other purpose for such items, goes directly with the intention to kill. Second, the evidence is also quite literally inexorably intertwined with the box containing the Dear World letter, as it's Ralph's prior trips to Florida, because it drives home the deadly intent of giving further context to other facts. The 50 caliber ammunition in particular explains Ralph's later attempts in late August to obtain a 50 caliber sniper rifle that would have been able to use the ammunition. The ammunition in Ralph's storage trailer further explains the box contents, with the manual showing how to make an improvised explosive device and other ammunition, constituting further circumstantial evidence of the box showing Ralph's intent and purpose to use the bullets to cause harm.
So he was stockpiling weapons in Florida.
Yeah. Well, and the IED talk kind of was a little confusing to me because they were talking about creating a breach in the barrel. And okay, if you plug the barrel of a weapon, I guess that makes a quick dirty IED. 50 cal is kind of a large round to find something that'll fit in, but
it's not really, I mean, that's not really effective if you're trying to create mass chaos. It would be a distraction for sure.
I was gonna say, I could see it as a distraction, but not much more.
Yeah.
Which I guess would be enough, especially 50.
Right.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Now we get to the actual meat of this
Meat
filing.
pages.
All this stuff is fascinating. It is a 21-page filing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's going viral as of this morning. Ryan Ralph hit up the Ukrainian military to give them weapons that could kill Trump on a golf course or shoot his plane down. Oh, yeah. Remember how we heard whispers about how they were really ramping up security around Trump's plane? Trump's plane had like military escorts. There were some rumors of a decoy plane that flew always with President Trump wherever he was flying.
All right, so I can't really talk about my background. Well, I've talked about my background a little bit. Just so people, I can't dive into it too much, but Trump was flying his personal airplane, which is a 757, not government. So it wouldn't be a whole. It's not Air Force One. It's not Air Force Two. It's not none of those. It's no different really than anything you'd fly commercially as far as protective measures and things that plane would have. Granted, Trump's plane's going to have like the finest ostrich leather or whatever the hell he's got in there. But as far as
toilets,
yeah, as far as safety goes and the maneuverability and the different things that our government airplanes have, at the time that this was happening, that is not what President Trump was flying on. He was flying on his personal aircraft.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It did not have all the bells and whistles that come with Air Force One or Two.
So,
here we go.
I wonder why we got that news cycle. Well, here we go. August 2024, attempt to purchase anti-aircraft weapons. This court should admit Ralph's 2024 attempt to acquire anti-aircraft weapons as direct evidence of his assassination attempt. That month, Ralph sought to purchase the devices online from an associate that Ralph believed to be a Ukrainian with access to military weapons. The two had discussed the July 2024 attempt to assassinate President Trump that occurred in Pennsylvania, with Ralph writing, "I wish," via encrypted messaging app, saying, "I wish that President Trump had been killed." The two began discussing Ralph's purchase of a weapon in August. To that end, Ralph told his associate, "Send me an RPG, rocket-propelled grenade, or a Stinger missile, that I will see, and I will see what I can do."
And those are two things that a normal civilian just can't get. Right?
You can, you can own those. Everything that's in our military arsenal, you can own with the proper permitting and the proper bankroll.
Well, fair, but yeah, as far as the average citizen getting a hold of something like that, no.
And as far as the RPG goes, the RPG would be less than, unless that plane was sitting on the tarmac. There's nothing really that the Stinger and a man pad, for instance, would be very, very bad.
It's scary.
So
yeah, just the thought of it though is just wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if your pockets are deep enough, you can own pretty much everything in the American arsenal. For the most part, not everything. Like if you want to, you can't get an F-22 Raptor, but you can buy an F-14 Tomcat if your pockets are deep enough.
You got the pockets.
So,
But
I mean,
it's the fact that he's getting it from the Ukraine. Wasn't he trying to get it from the Ukraine? Is that what?
Well, yeah, I say that
Because they won. He was trying to buy it from Ukraine because we supplied Ukraine with the weapons. So basically, he was trying to buy ours.
And then we buy them back.
It's literally common knowledge that Ukraine is selling off probably up to half of the weapons that they're actually getting just onto the black market for money.
It's crazy.
I say back to Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world and has been known as such for 50 years or better.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out.
And then he has actual frontline experience there in Ukraine, bringing in Afghans and everything else. So he has connections in Ukraine, knows the weaponry that they have, and is requesting it being sent to him in Florida.
Yeah.
And he's being funded by
the CIA, probably.
The CIA.
Allegedly.
Which means we're paying for it.
Which means we're paying for it.
Yeah.
And we're paying for the weapons and just about every other stage of this through US aid and things like that.
Unknown.
When we practice it,
of course.
Yeah. Because I guarantee 90% of Americans still would not approve of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a, what, 82% approval rating?
Or I'll say 85%.
85%?
Well, 85% of Americans wouldn't agree on this. Now, there might be a 15 or so that would, just because they hate the guy. But
I say the Democrats'
I don't even think
approval rating in Congress is like in the teens.
Yeah.
So lowest in history.
Yeah, I don't even think like a lot of those Democrats probably wouldn't agree with this either. Like, I mean,
you'd hope not.
Maybe like 2% of Democrats.
Well, there's a squad of them that would.
Yeah. 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 And we hear them say it.
Yes, we do.
All right, here we go.
Trump is not good for Ukraine, which led to the two discussing Ralph's purchasing options, with Ralph asking about the price and whether the associate could ship it to me. Before then, explaining his intent. I need equipment so that Trump cannot get elected. The two then exchanged messages about the price and logistics that included Ralph writing, going to a local store for such items is impossible. However, you lose these items on a daily basis. One missing would not go noticed. Do you think Trump will be good for Ukraine? The two continued to discuss the possibility of Ralph securing a rocket or a missile launcher, with Ralph sending the associate an image of President Trump's plane, writing, Trump's plane. He gets on and off daily. Huh.
Wow.
Was this an actual Ukraine? I mean, listen, okay. Ryan Ralph knows people in Ukraine. He knows Ukrainian fighters. He knows the Ukrainian military. He's been to Ukraine a bunch of times. Nobody knows how he got there. Nobody knows how he could afford to do it. Nobody knows who was rubber stamping the visas. It was clearly our State Department in coordination with our CIA. They were running Ralph. This wasn't an undercover. Ralph was communicating with the Ukrainian military. Ralph was asking about arms smuggling, which the Ukrainian military does, to war zones. This is how they make a profit. This is how these guys, all these generals get rich and then retire in the Balkans on the Adriatic Sea or buy platinum mines in Africa. They sell the weapons we send them. Ryan Ralph knows this, and he wanted to buy them through the cartels and smuggle in fighters to kill President Trump. This is the biggest bombshell document in the world right now, and the entire planet should be talking about it.
I agree.
I
absolutely agree.
Insane.
Unfortunately, I've only heard of this story from this one outlet. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a few more out there, but not like you would think it would be. This should be blasted all over.
Well,
every outlet.
He did say that he had just gotten a hold of it earlier today himself, and by the date stamped on it at the start, it's only 2 days old. Released on the 7th, I think it said.
But
I will
Bongino
say though
talked
that
about it, right?
our fake news, when they don't pick up stories like this, it just goes to the credit.
There's a reason.
There's a reason. Fox News, fake news. CNN, fake news. MSNBC, fake news.
All the legacy media.
None of the legacy media has picked this up and run with it 24/7.
If it was against a different president,
louder,
or a different potential president, it would be first page, first headline. It'd be everywhere.
I don't know that I would necessarily agree with you on that, because you're talking about a 3-letter agency that funds a lot of these fake news outlets. So I still think no matter who this was against, it would have wouldn't
have exposed it or tried to expose
it. Would have been spotlighted like we would think.
Well,
I can see
talking
that.
about you're talking about your. It's like you working somewhere and you talking shit about your boss. Like, I'm gonna get on social media and talk shit about my boss. You talk shit about your boss in the break room with your buddies. You don't go blast it on the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Wow.
All right.
Here we go.
I am blown away. That is
Me too.
that is virtually just our show that is taking this kind of stuff seriously. This rips open the underbelly of exactly what this operation in Ukraine was. Give us guns and more money now. Otherwise, we will use the guns you've already given us to kill you. Do you understand? That was what was on the table. This is what Ryan Ralph was trying to buy. Jeez. And ladies and gentlemen, I think there are a lot of questions that need answered. Who is handling Ryan Ralph? Why did they continue to let President Trump golf and fly on this plane when they knew a guy was trying to get a missile to shoot the plane out of the sky and kill President Trump? Why did Ryan Ralph get this close to President Trump? Here's the map again. Ryan Ralph was within feet of Donald Trump. How'd that happen exactly?
Yeah.
And I think the most important question, who in our federal government knew about Ryan Ralph?
That's a good
Who
question.
knew that this was happening?
Very good question.
I'm well aware.
Well,
I think old Uncle Dan Bongino is going to figure that out real soon.
Yeah.
Good old Uncle Dan.
Uncle Dan is going to eat that one up as quick as he can, I think.
Dan and Cash Patel are going to figure this. This is not something that Bongino and Cash Patel are going to not bring to the courtroom.
Yeah.
On another news note, I did see that Bongino has like a whole team of bodyguards now.
Nice.
And apparently that's never happened before at the FBI. So that means they're doing something. They're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His life is in that much danger.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, hey, they're ruffling feathers and, well, they don't like it.
Yeah.
Too bad. Too bad, because their feathers are getting plucked.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
keep doing the good work.
That's
Cash
right.
Patel and Dan Bongino.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pray
we
over them.
we 100% support you here at the Clip Farm.
Yep.
Make the FBI cool again.
I don't know that it was ever cool, but so,
Here,
Aware that the federal government can go and spy on all of my signal chats and text messages. And I send every message with the understanding that there's probably a Fed on the other end of the line reading it. Clearly, he was being monitored. The government has all of this information. He was already on the FBI's wanted list already. The FBI already knew who Ryan Routh was. Yet he was allowed to sit and camp out there in the bushes within feet of Donald Trump, having sent all of these messages and doing all of this, and they'll arrest you for memes. Are you effing kidding me? I'm frying my brain right now. Are you kidding me? They'll arrest you for sending the wrong meme. But Ryan Routh is able to get RPGs or try and pay for RPGs to shoot Trump's plane out of the sky. To kill Trump. Last thing I'll read, page 13. Routh's request for anti-aircraft weapon shows his destructive intent. For the steps such as surveillance of Trump's Palm Beach International Airport, his active tracking of President Trump's plane, his stated intent to destroy the plane, in his Dear World letter, the jury will not be able to fully appreciate the purpose of this conduct without also knowing his intent to purchase the rocket launcher. Did the Ukrainian government, just put up the B-roll of Trump and Zelensky, did they know? That's my question. Of course, Ukraine is a super state that is being run by the CIA. Did they know about this assassination?
I think he did know.
Yeah.
So I think with the actions of a few politicians that we've seen just today and within the last few days with Ukraine, I think that they knew that this bombshell was coming out and they're trying to save face. Those that are out there, I'm not going to dive into it on this particular live stream, but check out Lindsey Graham. Look how he's been moving the last few days.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Wasn't old Lindsay supposed to be golfing with Trump that day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lindsey. If I recall correctly, the day that that was going on, back in July, Lindsey Graham was supposed to be out there with him, and he canceled that day. That was pretty interesting. It's like maybe a 3-letter agency told him.
Right here, there's a little quote from Lindsay. I'm grateful you weren't hurt any worse. I love you. You know we were supposed to play golf this morning at 8:30. I talked to him 3 times this week. All I can say is that he's got 5 children and 5 grandchildren. He's a human being. A lot of people love this man. For the country, we probably need to do more soul searching as a nation. Quote unquote from Lindsey Graham himself, according to this article here.
That is kind of an odd thing to have.
Yeah. On the day of.
Yep. And then, like I said, Ukraine's been wanting to come back and sign paperwork here recently. So it's just interesting, really interesting how some of these politicians and world leaders have been moving the last 2 days.
Do you think this could have had anything to do with that little charade that he put on at the White House when he got kicked out? When he said, "You don't know, but you will."
Are you talking about when Zelensky came to the White House and JD Vance just bitch slapped the shit out of him?
Yep.
Is that the time you're talking about?
That particular incident. That's it.
Well, he went back because he didn't like the and I don't necessarily blame Zelensky on not taking that deal because we were getting a lot of those mineral rights. So like I understand, but what was weird about that whole situation was that whole negotiation had already been dealt and agreed upon before they did this meeting. And Then when the cameras were turned on, Zelensky wanted to do some slick shit, and JD Vance wasn't fucking having it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zelensky, like you say, as soon as the cameras came on, Zelensky started trying to renegotiate what he was getting. Well, I need more of this. I need more of this.
Had too many lines in that car.
Something.
Yeah, he had something.
Something happens between A and B.
Oh.
Let's finish this out and see what we only got a couple minutes left, I think.
Yeah. Here we go.
Did they warn anyone?
Nope.
Did anybody try and do anything?
Nope.
Are there ever any cables that say, hey, this Ryan Ralph guy is trying to buy weapons of war to kill Trump? He says so in his own writings. I just read to you all of his text messages. Is this why Zelensky was treated like this in the White House? Is this the undergirding of this treatment? That President Trump and JD Vance were well aware of what the F was going on here. Is that it?
Yeah.
They were well aware of what Zelensky was
they
doing.
both knew.
His government knew that they were trying to kill Trump with our own weapons, and they did nothing. Does that lead to some of the bitterness here that you saw, like the open aggression and resentment rightfully deserved in the White House from Zelensky? And oh, by the way, right when this filing comes out, Ukraine sends an emergency delegation to negotiate peace in Washington. They're doing it right now. Boy,
Interesting timing.
almost like the
Oh man.
So,
It's all a coincidence.
Yeah.
Oh, quinky dink. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Nothing to see here.
Wow.
Yep. Don't let
that is crazy.
Yeah.
absolutely wild. I know we'll be touching this story again here soon, but like, yeah, we were saying we just wanted to.
We just stumbled across it and we wanted to get it out. And
Yeah, so we're kind of doing a little discussion on what we were coming up with here, and this popped up, and I threw this out. I was like, "What?
It's live
Yeah.
stream worthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
And
run with this for a
Like I
minute."
said, we're working on doing a once a week like a weekend news update or something like that where we'll go live or not. Well, we will eventually go live. Our first couple, we're still working on our
Our groove.
our
we have
yeah,
several
In our-
episodes coming.
getting our chemistry and everything together. So we will get there, and we
So-
will try to be doing this once a week.
We're recording it to start with, so we can have a mulligan if we really f it up. So
And,
I'll put it out there.
and for all of those that are in the chat, we really appreciate you. We're going to try to operate slightly different when we go live on the Clip Farm. You guys are free to chat, and we'll try to chat with you through the comments. But we're gonna focus on the show, and
'Cause we got so much content to go over and dissect, and
we appreciate every last one of you, and we encourage free speech, and so you're welcome to be in the chat, and we'll try to chat with you, but we're going to try to stay on topic with whatever our news will be. So it'll just, for us, it's going to feel a little bit different than how we've gone live in the past, where we do direct interactions with the chat, which we will try to. If you hit us with something real good in the chat, we may bring it up if it's related to our story.
Oh, definitely. If you're on topic with whatever, if you bring up a key point on something we're talking about, there's a fair likelihood that we'll catch you.
yeah, we'll throw those sprinkles on.
Heck yeah. Especially if it's something we hadn't, didn't know or weren't aware of.
Absolutely.
And I like how we all have our own opinions. We may not just agree on everything, and we could sit here and discuss it and let each other know, and nobody's in their feels about it. It's, these are our opinions.
Yeah. Chef's a heretic. He likes pineapple on his pizza.
Hey, you telling all the secrets.
Throwing you out there, Mike.
Hey,
Adam.
one time, and that was in Portland, okay? A shout out to the Pizza Shack. Great place to eat.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna wrap this one up for today. But be looking forward to once a week we're gonna get together and do a news. And on the way out, we're gonna say, remember to question everything and follow the money.
That's right.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody coming by, hanging